Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Let's get straight into today's news though. So Bitcoin is up to $30,731, up 1.28% within the last 24 hours and nicely up 14% within the last week. We have seen Ethereum see no real change within the last 24 hours. It's still sat at around 1,882. So we will be taking a look at that at the end of today's stream. We'll be analysing the price of Bitcoin, we'll be analysing the price of Ethereum, and we'll be comparing the two. So if that's something you are interested in, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. Good morning to everybody in the chat this afternoon. Please don't forget to help us with the algorithm as much as possible today. So let's get straight into it. First of all, I want to talk about what Michael Saylor has been saying. Now, Michael Saylor has posted this interview over to his Twitter profile. If you are interested in hearing the whole thing, then make sure to go and check that out. But let's show you what's actually been going on here right now. I'm just going to play a little clip of this for you so you can see what he's had to say. Essentially, Michael Saylor is definitely a Bitcoin maxi. He believes in Bitcoin and only Bitcoin, none of the other cryptocurrencies. So let's see what he says within this, and then we'll discuss that a little bit further.
Working really long and hard for many, many years to do a Lightning type network. They're going to realize that these things they took for granted, they thought, we can just have our cake and eat it too. We can have a decentralized network that has the dollar as the unit of account. We can move the money at the speed of light for free. And we don't really need to use energy and mining ASICs and Bitcoin. And we don't have to pay for Bitcoin for gas. We'll just issue our own yo-yo coin and we'll use that for gas.
Right,
and
this is the bit.
And I think that those people are going to realize that Bitcoin is the safe haven asset. Bitcoin is the risk-off asset. Bitcoin is the censorship-resistant network, right? Bitcoin is the reserve asset of the ecosystem. And that means that as they lose confidence in their tokens, they're going to trade their tokens back into the reserve asset of the ecosystem, which is Bitcoin. When they lose confidence in an offshore or an onshore crypto exchange, they're going to trade back into Bitcoin. When they lose confidence, when they think that, well, that's not censorship resistant anymore, right? Those are all nation state captured networks. They're going to go back to Bitcoin. And so I actually think that this is reminding everybody why Satoshi did what Satoshi did. It's going to bring everybody back to their roots. And as people lose confidence in all of these other crypto ideas, which were meant to make Bitcoin better or fix Bitcoin, right? And I'll give people a benefit of doubt. They're trying to fix Bitcoin, but they're taking shortcuts. Or maybe it was their business, right? I'm going to be in the business of trading Bitcoin, rehypothecating Bitcoin, hedging Bitcoin, creating competitors to Bitcoin, improving Bitcoin. That was their business. I think that they're going to realize that, in fact, the best idea always was to buy and hold Bitcoin, take the long view, and if you see an issue, if you see something that is suboptimal, like I want to pay for a cup of coffee in a split second for free, if you can't do that with Bitcoin, you don't reinvent the ecosystem. You go back and you focus on creating either a layer 2 or a layer 3 solution on top of Bitcoin, and you solve the problem via Lightning or solve the problem by a custodial Bitcoin wallet. And so ultimately, the capital in the crypto ecosystem is going to migrate from the other crypto assets to Bitcoin.
Right, so I just thought I'd push this article. Let me make sure that you can all still hear me. Let's go back to this screen here. So I just thought I'd show that video there, just a small clip of it to show what Michael Saylor's thoughts are. Now, a lot of people do respect Michael Saylor and what he has to say. He's managed to buy Bitcoin over and over again to the top of the previous bull market and all the way back down again. And now MicroStrategy are back in profit. He was the CEO of MicroStrategy. He's now taken a step back into another role. I can't remember exactly his new title, but he has taken a step back from that, but he is basically the reason why they are huge fans of Bitcoin and pushed that massively for the company. A lot of people respect him for that. He's managed to buy at the highs and at the lows and bring his average entry price down repeatedly. He dollar cost averaged in 2 new lows and continued to do so. So a lot of people do respect him, but we do need to point out he is a Bitcoin maxi. He believes in Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. And I would like to know everybody's opinions in the chat, in the comments. What do you think about the rest of the ecosystem? Michael Saylor here definitely believes that all of the other cryptocurrencies will basically fall down and only Bitcoin will be left. I understand the reasons why he believes this. I don't believe it's something that we will see in the short term. I like to use altcoins as a way to build my Bitcoin holdings. Every time I see some nice profits in my altcoins, I move those funds back into Bitcoin and try and build my holdings as much as possible through those volatile assets in the altcoin market. But we do have to remember, we need to consider what can happen in the long term as well. I always say personally, I'm not a massive fan of hodling altcoins for years and years and years. I like to buy an altcoin and take my profits when I can. They're volatile assets, they're risky assets, but I'd like to know what everybody else's opinions are of this in the chat. So let me know what you think. It's very interesting debate there. I do believe that we will see a lot of the altcoins start to fall to the side and we see these main altcoins start to really flourish, but I don't expect thousands and thousands to make it through that period of time. I think we will filter out all of the problematic assets in the industry at some point in time. Let's see what Animator82 said. He's not wrong about Bitcoin being a safe haven asset. And now that is something I agree with. If somebody said to me, you need to hold one cryptocurrency for the next 10 years and you cannot touch it, which one are you choosing? I'd choose Bitcoin all day, every day. If somebody said that to me about any asset, it would always be Bitcoin. I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin. And I do believe some of the altcoins will stick around, but I think there's going to be a huge mix up there about which ones, and it may even be new projects that make it. I do think that in the future, I mean in years' time, in like 5 to 10 years' time, we could see a huge amount of altcoins start to fall to the side and see some of the big ones really flourish. But in the meantime, altcoins can help you build your portfolio massively. Let's take a look at what Animator82 said. Altcoins shouldn't pretend to be the Bitcoin safe haven, but embrace having its own use cases, basically startup tech investing. Exactly. Now, altcoins are brilliant in their own right, and that is something Michael Saylor doesn't really point out in many of his videos. Altcoins allow us to disturb different industries. We've seen altcoins be used for music streaming services. We can use altcoins in the insurance industry. There are so many industries that altcoins allow the blockchain technology to be used in, that it really helps break into different industries, and that's really, really important as well. So I do think that we could revolutionize every traditional space using altcoins, but I just don't know how many of those are going to really flourish. So I think that we will filter down the industry eventually, but I think this is like a 5 to 10 year timeline to see, not something that we'll see in this cycle. I imagine for the next bull market, altcoins can make some huge gains there. It's just picking the right altcoins, which is really the difficulty there. If you are struggling on what altcoins to pick, by the way, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com and press that courses tab there, and you get access to our cryptocurrency courses completely for free. If you go to Crypto 101, we have a course here called How to Spot Altcoin Gems. Very useful, goes into a lot of detail there, and it's only 15 minutes long. If you want more information from that, I recommend the altcoins course and the tokenomics course there as well. But if you want to watch the rest of that article, I will drop the link to that interview into the live chat. It's definitely a very interesting conversation there, and he does point out the one thing that he did point out in that stream there, in that small little clip, that he believes the cryptocurrency industry will start taking their profits from altcoins and moving that into Bitcoin over a period of time. Now, that is something I believe a lot of people are doing already. I believe people will continue to do that. Ivan says Bitcoin will absorb the value of anything that requires energy and time on Earth. I do believe that a lot of people will move their profits into Bitcoin, as a lot of us are continuously doing so as time goes on. Altcoins really attract people into the cryptocurrency space, though. A lot of my friends that want to get into crypto, they're not interested in buying Bitcoin. They think they're too late for Bitcoin, which is absolutely absurd. But besides the point, they want to invest in the next big altcoin, the one they think is going to 100x, 1000x within the next week. Altcoins really invite new people into the space, and a lot of my friends that have come into the cryptocurrency space in that way have then gone on to learn about the industry even more and understand the benefits that Bitcoin can provide. So It does help welcome people into the space, and anything that helps welcome people in the space is a massive benefit. One thing I'd like to point out was in that stream then, he was talking about how people move their money from altcoins into Bitcoin. I think there's something similar that could happen here, but not necessarily all to Bitcoin. I mean, people might move from low cap coins into high cap coins, like Ethereum, like Litecoin, those projects that have managed to get themselves on in the institutions' books are the ones that could perform really, really well within the next couple of weeks, months as well. So that's something I'm keeping a close eye on. There is this discussion right now of the divide in cryptocurrency, and this is the divide between regulated assets and unregulated assets, or not even regulated assets that regulators seem to be able to get behind. So for example, this new cryptocurrency exchange, which is backed by Wall Street giants, EGM, I definitely have got that wrong, markets, an exchange that has been backed by Wall Street giants, lists Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Those 4 projects seem to be acceptable for regulators and big institutional players to get behind. So we're seeing this divide in the markets at the moment, where a lot of people are just choosing to focus their efforts on the tokens that are seen as appropriate for bigger players, for institutions, and then for the rest of the market, which is like the Wild West. So it'll be interesting to see how the flow of money shifts. Maybe we'll see a lot of low cap coins funds moving into those assets that are backed by, which are on that exchange, which is backed by Wall Street giants, and seeing money shift into projects that are regulated. But we'll have to keep a close eye on this because it's a really interesting topic for conversation right now. Something we've never really seen before in the cryptocurrency space because we've never really had the clarity on regulation, even if it has been done by enforcement. But we'll keep a close eye on this, and also don't forget to like today's video and subscribe and hit the bell notification button if you are enjoying today's stream. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency market. Let's see how many of you guys have liked today's stream so far. We are on 17 likes. If you have not liked already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Let's try and get to 30 by the end of today's stream. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel, which isn't an easy goal, but I would like one of those big silver plaques, so I need your help to do so. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency markets. Next, we are talking about Bitcoin ETFs. So we have seen a lot of excitement in the cryptocurrency industry in the last couple of weeks. BlackRock has filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and this has caused a whole amount of excitement. BlackRock are the world's largest asset manager, and they have applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF, which is essentially creating an asset which is pegged to the price of Bitcoin 1-to-1. And this would just follow the price of Bitcoin. Now, this has caused a huge amount of attention because if BlackRock are looking to create this asset, first of all, they need to buy enough Bitcoin to back the asset. Yes, this might be done over the counter, but we'll talk about that in a second. They need to buy enough Bitcoin to back this asset, and that brings a huge amount of adoption because other institutions then want to get involved. What we've seen here is big players in traditional finance are looking at the cryptocurrency sector and going, look, everybody thinks it's a scam, nobody wants to get involved, we're not going anywhere near it. And now they're seeing the biggest asset manager wanting to get involved in the industry. They're all thinking twice about what they believe. They're doing more research to see about the space. If this BlackRock ETF gets accepted, which is highly probable in my opinion that it does, we could see a huge flow of money into the cryptocurrency space. First of all, because BlackRock need to buy enough Bitcoin. The argument against that is BlackRock will probably buy over the counter, so we won't see that buying pressure directly onto the market, but over time we will see some buying pressure. And second of all, because it just brings more people into the space. People will buy into cryptocurrencies through the spot Bitcoin ETF. They will then want to educate themselves a little bit more about the industry, understand about self-custody, and then choose to buy more of the asset and maybe even create their own cryptocurrency wallets and store them in a safer way. So what a spot Bitcoin ETF is it's an asset which is pegged to the price of Bitcoin, but you don't have to worry about self-custody. So you could buy this asset, you don't need to learn how to store your cryptocurrencies, you don't really need to sign up to any new exchanges. Traditional investors can invest in the same way that they usually do. They don't need to go out of their way to learn a whole new industry. So that's the benefits that spot Bitcoin ETFs can bring. And we have seen here that Hong Kong's largest bank, HSBC, launches Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And the move makes HSBC the first Hong Kong bank to offer crypto-related exchange-traded funds. Now, we have seen in the last couple of weeks and months, the US regulators have not made it easy for cryptocurrency within the region. Hong Kong, however, has said they want to become become a cryptocurrency hotspot. And they've done everything in their power to do so. They've welcomed many different cryptocurrency exchanges into the region. The regulators are pushing the banks to work with the cryptocurrency exchanges, and now they have got a new Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. They have seen the potential of blockchain technology, of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, and they're trying to take advantage of that as quick as possible, because the first mover advantage is really important. The first region to fully take advantage of the cryptocurrency sector, they're the ones that are going to perform the best. And the ones that fall behind and wait to see what happens are the ones that are going to be racing to catch up here. So this is really interesting what's going on here. And you can start to see the race to adopt cryptocurrency really beginning. The SEC and the US have really been trying to shut it off. The IMF recently said they don't think banning cryptocurrency is going to work in the long term. Biden has said that cryptocurrency has staying power. We're now seeing BlackRock file for a Bitcoin ETF. We're seeing ETFs in Hong Kong and in other regions, and we've seen BlackRock file for a spot Bitcoin ETF. The same week we saw 4 other institutions filing for a Bitcoin ETF. So we are seeing this sort of race starting to happen and unravel. And that's what's making the cryptocurrency industry so interesting right now, because we've never really seen anything like this. People within the cryptocurrency space have been fighting to get people to learn about the industry and understand the potential of the industry, but now it really feels like people have actually been listening. So it's really interesting to see how this will play out in the next bull market. It should be a very, very exciting one. Fingers crossed. We will keep a close eye on this. We are really 305 days away from the Bitcoin halving right now. So things are heating up in the cryptocurrency space. At the end of today's stream, we will be analyzing the price of Bitcoin. We'll analyze the price of Ethereum, and we'll compare Ethereum to Bitcoin as well. And we'll go on to the bigger time frames, and then we'll zoom right in to see what is happening. So make sure, if you want to keep an eye on what's going on with the price of Bitcoin, you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and stay tuned until the very end of today's stream. Let's see what it says in this article here, so we can see. To curb consumer exposure to the risks associated with crypto assets, HSBC has launched its Virtual Assets Investors Education Center to educate people in Hong Kong about the cryptocurrency industry. And they've also launched their Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Now, it's very interesting here. How long do we think, if BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF gets accepted, how long until they apply for an Ethereum spot ETF as well? Now, that would be really, really interesting, because I imagine that would cause a huge move to the other side for the entire cryptocurrency industry as well. We could see some altcoins really benefiting off the back of that. So that is something that I'm anticipating to see within the next couple of years. But we need to keep a close eye on this and see how this unveils. We do have to remember the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF has not yet been accepted. So I'm trying to keep a cool head when I look at this and analyze the charts right now. But it is really exciting to see the institutions stepping into the industry. Let's see what else is going on here in the markets. We have Bored Ape Yacht Club prices plummet as one collector dumps 50 NFTs. Now, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, obviously, well, I'd say they're one of the most famous NFTs in the cryptocurrency space. Their prices absolutely soared during the previous bull market and NFT season. You can see here that according to NFT Price Floor, Bored Ape Yacht Club number 8026 sold for 33.89 Ethereum, approximately $62,000 on Sunday. And this NFT actually cost 136 ETH at the height of the collection's popularity in 2022. So that's a 75% discount from its all-time high. We have seen one collector dump 50 of these tokens, and that has caused a massive sell-off, a huge amount of selling pressure. And we are going to see this continue, I imagine, within the next couple of days, unless somebody comes and sweeps the floor there. I mean, this is a really interesting conversation. I think we all know by now I'm not a massive NFT fan. I don't really see the benefits in NFTs that have no real world utility. Some of these projects, yes, they put utility into them. I mean, utility, you get access to different groups and things like this. But paying this much money for an NFT, which is a picture of an ape, I mean, it absolutely blows my mind that people do this. I see the benefits. I mean, traders that take advantage of the price fluctuations in NFTs, they do very, very well. Hats off to you guys. But I don't know how you spot these kind of things. It seems to come out of nowhere. I mean, I've not done enough research on NFTs because I just don't see the potential, and I don't like the fact that you can't slowly dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out unless you buy thousands and thousands of these NFTs. I mean, I like with my altcoins, I buy a bag, Slowly over time, I buy and buy and buy and buy, and then I sell and sell and sell and sell. With an NFT, you have to fully go all in and then come all out. That really is not something that I can get on board with. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency space, though. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. Today we have Judge rejects Binance's motion over misleading SEC statements. So we can see here that the federal judge presiding over the SEC's lawsuit against Binance has rejected the crypto's exchange's motion to restrain the agency from issuing statements asserting that it misused customers' assets. So what's happened here is Binance was sued by the SEC. And it wasn't just because they were offering unregistered securities. They also got accused of mishandling customers' assets. Now, that was an extra question. That's not something that Coinbase got accused of. Coinbase only got accused of offering unregistered securities. Binance had this extra clause in their filing, in the SEC's filing against them. And this is something that they have wanted to debate for a while. The SEC then tried to freeze Binance US's funds. And then we saw them come to some sort of agreement in the middle because Binance rejected that idea. And then they came to some sort of agreement. Everybody was happy. And then the SEC decided to go out and make a statement. And they basically accused Binance of misusing customers' funds without any real evidence. So Binance then decided that they were going to go to the courts and try and get the courts to order the SEC to act in a proper manner, essentially. And the courts have declined this, essentially. So let's take a look at this. While all of the lawyers in this case should adhere to the ethical obligations at all times, it is not apparent that court intervention is to reiterate that point is needed at this time, or that it is necessary or appropriate for the court to get involved in wordsmithing the parties' press releases. So the courts are really trying to stay out of that at the moment. We are seeing Binance clearly state through their actions that they're not going to step down from this easily. They are going to fight against the SEC here. So it does look to me like it is going to be a long battle, but we will stay tuned on what's going on there. Let's take a look at the next one here. Bybit gets regulatory nod to operate in Cyprus. We're seeing different cryptocurrency exchanges trying to break into new regions, and we're seeing Bybit be successful with that. If you are interested in Bybit, make sure to go and read that article and learn a little bit more about the exchange. We also have Singapore releases framework for open and interoperable digital asset networks. So the proposed framework evaluated the application of financial market infrastructure principles to emerging digital asset network models. So what we can see here is the Singapore Central Bank and financial regulator, the MAS, has released a framework for designing open and interoperable networks for digital assets. And this was jointly developed with experts from the Bank of International Settlements Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure and participating financial institutions. Now, Singapore are definitely trying to get ahead of this movement into the cryptocurrency space. If you are interested in that, make sure to go out and check the link that I've just posted in today's live chat. Let's see what else is going on in the markets here. Coinbase provides $50 million in credit facility to the crypto mining company Hut 8. So Coinbase is getting involved in the mining industry again. So the mining company has received a credit facility of $50 million. This loan facility will give Hut 8 more financial flexibility and help it with its broad corporate aims. So the credit facility has a $15 million term loan, which will be funded after signing the deal. And the credit facility allows an additional $20 million delayed draw term loan to be drawn in a second borrowing once 1 and 2 months after the initial transaction. So Hut 8 is a mining company, a significant player in the digital asset mining market, concentrating on innovation and powered by a team of forward-thinking technologists. They have one of the highest capabilities of rates in the business, with 2 operational digital asset mining locations in southern Alberta. The company maintains a significant inventory of unencumbered self-mined Bitcoin, cementing its position as a prominent player in the global digital asset mining market. Let's move on to the next article now. I want to get onto the price of Bitcoin and see what else is going on there. Essentially, Coinbase have offered some liquidity to this mining company. Mining companies right now performing better than they were when we were down at $16,000, we just saw them all collapsing like dominoes, because what happens is these mining companies are spending a huge amount of money on the electricity electricity to power the machines. They're also paying to upkeep the machines, and they're also paying for new machines. And the only thing they get in return is the Bitcoin that they mine if they are successful in mining a block. And when the price of Bitcoin drops, their income is dropping significantly. I mean, at the peak of the bull market, miners were earning 6.25 Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at like $68,000. And then back in January and December, they were earning $17,000 per Bitcoin of times 6.25. So you can see that significant drop in the price has a massive effect on the mining companies. They were already really struggling. They needed liquidity and they needed something to tide them over till the next move to the upside. But obviously, mining company Hut 8 is one of the biggest out there. So they have managed to make it through the bear market. Let's see what else is going on in the space. One interesting thing actually about mining companies is that the stock price of mining companies significantly increased after Bitcoin started to move to the upside, and actually had a bigger some of them actually had a bigger rally, not all of them, some of them had a bigger rally than the actual price of Bitcoin. Now this is because obviously you're taking on more risk with a mining company, in my opinion. Because obviously, if Bitcoin plummets, you still have the asset. But if Bitcoin really plummets, mining companies may not be able to survive. So there's a big difference there. You're taking on more risk by investing in a mining company during the bear market. But those investors saw a massive payoff when the bull market, we started to see that swing to the upside and that uptrend there. Because those mining companies really did see a nice move and a nice big rally. Let's see what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news here, though. We are on 25 likes for today. So please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. There are 305 days until the next Bitcoin halving. This was yesterday, so there are now 304 days until the Bitcoin halving. This is typically the trigger for another Bitcoin bull market. We are currently rewarding miners with 6.25 Bitcoin every time they mine a block, and that is going to halve to 3.125 Bitcoin at the next Bitcoin halving. Now, a block is mined every 10 minutes, and then every 210,000 blocks, we see a Bitcoin halving. Let's take a look at the charts and take a look at that, and then we'll come on to the price of Ethereum and we'll take a look at that article there as well. So if we go into the 1 hour chart here, I was looking at this last night and I could see a nice descending wedge. We have now broken out of that on the 1 hour chart and started to move to the upside. Maybe we will come down and retest this level of resistance at $30,420. I'm keeping a close eye on that, but it is the 1 hour chart. I typically trade higher time frames when I'm looking at this. I'm just trying to get an indication of which direction we could be moving to within the next couple of days. So I'm keeping a close eye on that, but all in all, that's a bullish move to the upside, a bullish breakout, and something I definitely like to see. And what we can see here on the bigger time frames, we're jumping right from the 1 minute time for the 1 hour time frame to the 1 month time frame here. You can see that we have ticked almost bullish on the MACD right now. It looks like in July we could start to see that tick to the bullish momentum there, and that would be very, very positive for the price of Bitcoin. If we take a look at when we've seen this in the past, this has been following the low in the 2019 bear market, 2018 bear market. Also, if we take a look back here, the January 2016, we ticked bullish momentum on the MACD, and that was after the low of the bear market in November in 2014 and 2015. So this historically has been an indicator that the bear market has come to an end and we're about to see higher prices. Happier prices, I mean, they're all happier prices, and it indicated in the past that the bottom is in. So that's a really positive indicator there, something I'm definitely welcoming and something I'm happy to see within the next couple of weeks, fingers crossed. Let's take a look at the next chart here and see what else is happening here. Let's delete those lines a second. So you can see here on the daily chart, I've pulled out some really significant levels here. Obviously, this is the daily chart. None of these things are going to happen overnight, but this is just the time frame that I like to look at. So you can see here that we have a level of resistance between the $30,500 to the $31,000 level, and this comes from back in April. If we get rejected by this, I'm looking down at this level at $28,000, and this comes from the levels of support back in May 2022. If we, however, break to the upside, then I am looking for that $32,680 level. Now, a lot of people seem to be asking me, are you expecting to see another pullback? Now, if we see another pullback, we could potentially go down to that $28,000 level. A lot of people are shouting for $25,000 right now. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing clearly on the daily chart, we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. We now have this low at $25,000. So for us to come and retest that level, I'm expecting us to stay in this uptrend for quite a while. I am expecting us to see some consolidation at some point and see some sideways action. But I don't expect us to come down and see a new low just right now. I'm feeling very bullish about the space right now. We have seen a lot of positive price action here, and I am expecting to see a new higher high as well. We might see some more price action. We may even see a small blip down to the downside like we did here. But in the bigger time frames, on those bigger prices, I am still expecting to stay in this uptrend because after all, the trend is your friend until the end. I am a big fan of that quote. I do believe it truly, and obviously that is not 100%. I can't 100% promise that. I'm not promising you anything. Nothing is financial advice, but I'm just looking at this right now and saying we're in an uptrend, and I don't see any reason for this to be broken as of yet, unless some horrific news comes out right now. I'm expecting this trend to hold for a little bit longer. Let's continue though. So we've got this movement for Bitcoin right now. We have these levels of resistance. I'm looking at that level of resistance at 32.6. I'm looking at this level of support at $28,000. We are keeping a close eye on that. But all in all, I am also expecting some sideways action at some point as well. We are at a strong level of resistance right now. We have seen that we've been stuck at this level of resistance for a couple of days right now. And while we've been at this level of resistance on Bitcoin, we've seen Ethereum start to consolidate as well. So when we take a look at this chart here for Ethereum, we are stuck below that $1,934 level. If we do manage to break up above that, I'm looking at $20,027, $20,027, and a price prediction for later on. Peak of the bull market maybe. Let's take a look at this one here as well. So we're looking at the $2,150 level for Ethereum there as well. Some close resistances to look at. Also, we have this slanted level of support, which is currently at around $1,700. I'm keeping a close eye on that. If we see Bitcoin start to move to the upside, we may see Ethereum do something similar. If we see Bitcoin start to move sideways, it may give Ethereum a little chance to rally and pull some of those altcoins up as well. But right now, I'm taking a really close look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. And I have been looking at this one for a while here. So what we can see is this has been in a downtrend for a while. We've seen Ethereum, when this chart moves up, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. When this chart moves down, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. We've seen Bitcoin outperform Ethereum since basically back in June 2023, this month, the 9th of this month, even further than that, the 4th of June this month. So this month, we've already seen Bitcoin outperform Ethereum, and I'm expecting this to start to switch. Now, the scenarios that I'm looking at here is that either we are going to see, let's zoom out back onto the daily chart here. So the possibilities here for me are that we are going to see Bitcoin struggle to get through this level of resistance for a while. And if that is the case, that might give Ethereum the room to move to the upside, bring some of the altcoins up, and start to see a bounce on that Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Alternatively, we could see Bitcoin continue to the upside within the next couple of days and start to create that new high. And in that scenario, I would expect this to continue to move slightly to the downside. The third scenario is obviously that we do get that pullback, and if that is the case, we could imagine that Ethereum sees something similar. So they're the scenarios that I'm particularly looking at right now. Obviously, there are other scenarios out there, but we're keeping a close eye on that. I have been accumulating a lot of Bitcoin through the last couple of months, and now we've started to see this move to the downside with the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I really want to take advantage of that turn in that chart, because if I can move some of my funds from Bitcoin into Ethereum, and they can grow in terms of Ethereum so I can stack more Bitcoin. That is exactly what I'm trying to do with my portfolio. So I'm keeping a very close eye on that. But that is all really we have for today. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I hope you have enjoyed. I can go and breathe now. I speak so fast on these live streams. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back here tomorrow with another cryptocurrency update. So if you have enjoyed, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. And I will be back here tomorrow with another cryptocurrency update. And hopefully we have some more exciting news tomorrow. But I will see you all then. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.